Up next on Lunch with a Luminary.
What's more valuable, $500,000 in cash or a meal seasoned with the wisdom of a luminary? This is the tantalizing question that sparked the birth of a groundbreaking show, Lunch with the Luminary.
Welcome again to this episode of Lunch with a Luminary, where we're having box lunches because we are live at InvestFest 2024, talking to amazing luminaries who have gathered to talk about innovation, ideas, and building generational wealth. Today, right now, I have with me Demetrius Bledsoe. He's the CEO and founder of Fresh 365, and it's a smart farming entity that is basically transforming and blowing minds across the country from a workforce perspective, entrepreneurship perspective. So thank you for joining me for lunch.
Thank you for the invite. And yes, Fresh Harvest 365 and Fresh Highlands 365 is what we're doing. And both of them are smart farming entity as well as a workforce hiring.
Excellent. So now what got you into farming? I mean, you don't wake up in the morning saying, I want to be a farmer, at least not past the age of 3. So
Exactly.
what is it that got you into this?
I left St. Louis, Missouri, so born and raised from St. Louis. Left St. Louis, went to Iowa State to wrestle. And one of the discussions that I had with my advisor was, what do you want to major in and what do you want to get additional scholarships in?
And you said farming.
Well, I broke it down to, Iowa State's known for farming.
Right.
And it's known to be the Harvard of agriculture. People have to eat for the rest of their lives. So why don't I go into a career that is going to be sustainable?
Right.
His comeback was, you're from St. Louis. What do you know about farming? And I joked with him. I'm like, well, corn grows in a can, right? And he's like, not so much. But I'm like, no, I don't know much about farming. But
So Green Giant didn't create all my corn across the country.
Exactly. So we had the discussion. I went into agriculture. That following summer, I did an internship to learn farming one-on-one, basically. Ins and outs of farming, from growing to insecticide, fertilizer, the whole driving a tractor and all that. Even learn how to drive a stick doing that.
I can't even drive stick shift and you're driving tractors.
So that was part of my experience. And as a result, I kind of went into agriculture, doing the internships that I went through with Dow, DuPont.
Okay.
And graduated from Iowa State and went into agriculture as a whole.
Awesome. It's interesting because in Georgia, in certain geographies like near Fort Valley State University, there are conversations around wanting to keep the workforce there. So when people actually, go to college, whether it's Fort Valley, University or others, they get their education and then they leave because they feel like this is a rural town, it's an agricultural town. Why should I stay? Why should they stay?
Well, that's kind of what we kind of set up as a programming as a whole with Fresh Harvest and then Fresh Hire 365. What we did was we're teaching people the fundamentals of agriculture. We put them through a pre-apprenticeship program that gives them the skill sets that they would need to be able to be a farmer, whether they go work for a corporation or on their own. So we also give them vocational skills. So we teach them electrical, plumbing, solar installation, construction, greenhouse type of training. All that training is done online. So as what we do and give back to the community is, as part of my mission at Fresh Harvest 365, is to educate, employ, and empower the next generation of future leaders in agriculture.
So what you're sharing is that it's not necessarily taking a rake and a hoe or a more modern automated equipment in farming. There are other ancillary trades, electrical, etc., irrigation, associated with farming and being part of that ecosystem.
And not even that, what we want to do is train the average person, the city slicker or the non-rural individuals, and give them the skill set so when they go into agriculture, because a lot of them are starting to get passionate about agriculture.
Well, because of all the disease listen, I'm from Brooklyn. When you came to me and talked about it, I'm like, can I fit a 420 square foot, 320 square foot shipping container in my yard and maybe have my own little farm? My mom does it.
Okay.
She has tomatoes, lettuce, cabbage, corn takes up a lot of space, so that's not as easy. But there's a whole movement of people saying, I want to, farm fresh to my table and I want to do this myself. So are you saying there's a consumer component where I can take this online class as well?
So we have a consumer aspects. I just call it not even a consumer, just I have an aspect to the average person that wants to get into farming. We even have mini hydroponic kits. So I got a smaller version that you can put inside your
Really? So
your
okay,
kitchen.
so I don't need that much space.
Yeah, you can put inside your kitchen to grow 10 plants.
I'm a little overly ambitious. When I take on new things, I start going all out. Okay, so I can get the smaller kit. Okay.
The smaller kit for the average consumer.
Okay.
We can still work on something for you to get your
sugar
urban farming going.
I gotta talk to my HOA. The HOAs are tough.
But so we have the skill sets that we can give to the average consumer or somebody that wants to become a farmer or go into the industry. Okay. And what we like to show people is there's other jobs in agriculture besides being out in the field detasseling or picking cotton or soybeans and all that. There's HR jobs, there's engineering jobs. You got to think, who are the people that's designing all of these tractors, all of these drones.
Right. And so you go into all of that.
We go into all of that, and we try to encourage all of that for people to get into it, not just say you don't have to be in the field. You can go into leadership roles. You can go into all aspects of agriculture like I did.
So what's interesting is USDA had the incentive in the program for historically, people who did not get fair treatment for financing for their farms, et cetera, in the agricultural industry. And it's interesting how many of our families, my family's from North Carolina, we have farms, that are part of our land that was handed down, but how many of our family actually experienced negative impact to asking for loans or different supports. But now the new generation just isn't knowledgeable. Like we couldn't even if you got the funding, you couldn't even take that on to do that. Do you see an opportunity or a movement to get more Gen Zs, millennials into agriculture?
And that's what my primary focus, again, as my mission is to educate, employ, and empower the next generation. And I feel like what we can do, a lot of my training, for instance, is done online.
Okay.
So we actually have a VR component, which is more engaging to the gamers and all of that, for them to do hands-on training in a virtual experiment to allow them to this is pretty cool.
So you have the game?
We have virtual training.
Wow, okay.
So yes, and that's part of and we're increasing it and broadening our educational platform for what we can offer. So we're working with Tuskegee, we're working with Lincoln University, as well as Iowa State to add on to that content.
What about K through 12?
K through 12, we actually, interesting brought up, I actually have a partnership with the University School District, which is a very aggressive and pioneering and innovative school district. Okay. They won the Green Ribbon Award for that, but we just partnered in with them 2 summers ago where we did an ag leadership program. And we brought in their students over a 6 to 8 week course and taught them agriculture 101 to the point where they were leading and training and leading tours, which opened up a partnership that we had with Bayer, because we brought Bayer's leadership team over to do a workshop, and they saw these elementary school kids teaching them stuff, and they were supposed to be the experts in agriculture. So that opened up our partnership with Bayer. So as a result, we're bringing in a smart farming into University City here in the next couple months onto their school campus.
Wow.
So they're going to actually implement that with their students for the 9th to 12th grade program, but they're also going to sell their produce, grow their produce, and provide it back into their school system as the hospitality.
Is there an ideal age to be introduced to hydroponics and agriculture? Is it elementary school? Is it middle school, high school, college?
Well, we're able to do that, like I mentioned before, and we have a program called FARM, which is Fostering Agricultural Resilience Through Mentorship.
Okay, so Fostering Agricultural Resilience Through Mentorship.
Which is FARM. And that's the partnership that I have with Bayer, Iowa State, the Urban League, out of St. Louis, Boys and Girls Club, and the public school districts. But what we're doing with that is we've given out many hydroponic kits, like I told you.
I gotta get my kit. You gotta tell us how to get a kit before we wrap.
I'll send you one.
Okay.
I'll get you one. But with that is, we're able to provide those back into the schools. So like, remember home ec?
Yeah.
Where they gave the babies?
Absolutely.
We're giving these mini
So
hydroponic
it's one
kits.
per family or per student.
There you go.
Nice.
They take it home, they plant it, but as they're going through the course, they understand the proper seeds, planting and all that, the nutrients. But then as they go through that, what they're able to experience is after the 6 to 8 weeks, they have to plant a meal out of what they grew.
So are they planting one thing? Because, if you make a meal, are they getting potatoes, onions?
Well, of course, it's a mini hydroponic, so mostly was lettuce, kale. We had some people that did some carrots.
So salad. Basically, they're making salad.
Salad's not a full
Or
meal.
maybe they can get creative. The whole classroom, like you do the potatoes, you do the onions, right?
What we did for their capstone, I like to say, the graduation, and they provided this for the Bears leadership team. We had some people that made smoothies by utilizing the kale. We had some people that made pesto by utilizing the basil. We had some people that did, once again, the salads.
Yeah.
And all that, and they showed that not only did they grow it, but they learned how to grow it to keep sustaining it and keep moving forward.
Maybe we should have made this a Lunch with a Luminary farm to table edition or something.
That'll be the next one.
That'll be the next one. We got to figure that out. So I think I have multiple kids. So I'm going to have them all with their hydroponic kits and say, listen, next month, grow me something that'll be your dinner. Make a soup.
I mean, for real. But
how long's the program?
The program, like I said, that I do is the leadership for the youth is 6 to 8 weeks.
Nice.
And we usually do it in the summer. But once again, we partnered in with Harris Stowe University. We were looking at doing that, Bear, and then U City School District. I'm trying to think other organizations, Boys and Girls Club.
I love it. This is good work.
We're once again just trying to make agricultural farming, urban farming attractive,
right,
to the point where they know they can do it in their own homes.
So that's your farm program. You have your farm hire.
Yes.
And then you have your apprenticeships,
Yes.
programs within that. That is so amazing. So what did people say when they realized you were launching Farm 365?
When we launched Fresh Harvest 365, it was just something that people were like, okay, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to find a solution for food deserts and nutrients insecurities. But the biggest thing is I'm able to give a fresh harvest 365 days a year. And people are like, okay, I like that, but how are you going to do that? And I was like, well, I can grow equivalent to 5 acres worth, 3 to 5 acres worth in this small shipping container. How can you do that? Let me put one in the community first, give you a tour. Well, also, as we're training, we'll start hiring people so they can be farmers in these containers. So you have workforce component. Oh, yeah. And by the way, we're the Department of Labor approved apprenticeship program. And they was like, okay, and then we have a facility that's a veteran qualified training facilities for all of this. It was like, okay, well, how are you going to do this? Well, we're going to put a container. So we did the container. People came by, did the tours. The governor came down to Missouri. A lot of people got involved, but the fact is they were able to taste it. Me talking to you about it, you're like, yeah, I've eaten some decent
But when you
lettuce.
get to sink your teeth into it and taste it.
Actually, and then we've even had the governor say, what are you doing? You're cheating. Because I've never tasted lettuce, I've never tasted basil this fresh. I said, well, once again, Fresh Harvest 365 days a year. We're using no chemicals, no pesticides.
I love it.
And it's truly, we harvest it and it's on your plate within minutes.
I love it. We have to take this show on the road. When I talk to government leaders across the country, in urban areas, even outside of urban areas, but where there are food deserts, where there's food insecurity, this is the absolute solution to addressing those issues and activating the economic ecosystem.
Yes.
So we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to continue to talk about how we can activate the entrepreneurial ecosystem in our communities across the country, one neighborhood at a time. Did you have some closing remarks?
Like I said, we're actually starting a agripreneurship academy in conjunction with Iowa State and Tuskegee and Lincoln. And with that, we're showing people how to be entrepreneurs in the agricultural space, but we're also launching this globally. So we're going to be offering this in Rwanda as Flying Out Sunday, so we can implement some of that, and then the Philippines. So these are some of the first stuff that we're doing globally to expand the workforce, but also to attract more of the next generation to agriculture.
Demetrius, have passport, will travel. We travel in business and society. We get around. Thank you so much for joining me. But all this talk about farm to table and salads has made me hungry. So let's dig in.
Thank you.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.